Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's the Mexican coming to you guys with a brand new video. And today I wanted to discuss the Detroit Red Wings defensive situation, which is a good situation. Now, with the Petry trade, the Petry Lindstrom trade, you have 7 NHL capable defensemen now, which means come opening night, you are going to be sitting an NHL capable defenseman. You will be sitting an NHL defenseman. And that's a good problem to have, like I said. But the problem here is, who do you sit? Because Detroit's defensive situation is a bit of a hodgepodge of varying quality, you know? Like, everyone's skill level is different. And I wanted to make this video because I came across this image here. Detroit Red Wings potential defensive pairings. Jake Walman-Seider, that's going to be the first pairing without a doubt opening night. Then Sherratt, Petry, Gustav Holl. And that's what I have set up here. This seems to be the consensus of who's going to be playing defense for most of the season, and unfortunately that puts Mata as the odd man out, which a lot of people believe will happen. Personally, I don't think you sit Mata. Personally, I think you rotate between Sherratt, Petry, and Holl, because Mata is a stabilizing force on the defense. We've seen how he can elevate players last year. You know, he was paired with Hronek last year, and Hronek shot into the stratosphere and it became the defenseman we knew he could be. But then when he was paired with someone like Sherratt, he fell off hard. Now that could be a Sherratt effect because we've seen it happen with Seider as well, but Mata is just an incredibly solid defensive stabilizing defenseman. And so I don't think you sit him for that reason. But the problem is Mata's left-handed. So Gustav has been known to play right, and Sherratt can also switch to the right, which is good. But if you're going to rotate between Sherratt, Petry, and Holl, more than likely you're going to want to keep Mata on the left hand. So you could put Mata and Sherratt together, bench Petry and Holl, something like that. But my problem here is with the varying skill quality of everyone. So Walman and Seider, solid top defensive pairing. These two we seen last year work excellent together, and I hope it's not like a one-off, because if this is truly Detroit's future top pair, then we're going to be in good shape for a while. But then you get down here where this is the varying of skill quality, and like I believe it was Brad Krischko on the Wingwood podcast said, Detroit's got a top pairing and then 5 expendable D-men on the bottom. Now, a lot of people seem to be putting Mata as the odd man out because of what he's paid. You know, people look at Sherratt, Holl's contract and think they're paid a lot, they're not going to bench them. But that's where you're wrong. If you're going to want to have all of these guys here are in their 30s. Holl's 30, Petry's 35, Sherratt's 33, I think. So you don't want your 30-plus-year-olds to be playing every game. They just won't be able to keep up very well. Sherratt's the only one I can see keeping up at an NHL pace consistently all year, because he did it last year pretty much. I think he was out for like 2 or 3 games due to injury. But yeah, with Sherratt, absolute wild card. You don't know what the fuck he's going to end up doing. Petry is a solid D-man who has really good to really good offensive talent. Obviously, as he's gotten older, his production's dropped fairly decently, but he's still in that half point per game range. And if you can get that for 35-year-old Petry, that's good. Gustav is going to be the power play quarterback. I'm surprised Gustav didn't get signed to a longer deal, but I imagine that's got to be a Gustav thing because the cap's going up. So if Gustav's season goes the way I hope it does, he'll be a really good add and someone to keep on the blue line, who I also think should stay on the blue line all season. And then Holl, and then you got Mata, the stabilizing defenseman. Now, what I think Detroit should have as pairings is Walman-Seider, obviously. Then you put Mata, Petry here, and then Gustav Sherratt. And then you bench Holl for a good portion. And then, like I said, you switch between Sherratt, Petry, Holl, because they're older. Keep Mata on the left side. Gustav can switch between the left and the right if need be. Sherratt can move to the right when he's not in the benched rotation. So that's how I think it should be. But then we come up to a problem. Sherratt's still got, I think, 3 years left on his deal. Holl's 3 years left. Petry's got 2 years. Like I said, Gustav on a 1 year, and Mata's got 2 years. So where does that put Edvinsson? Because if Gustav has a good year, you're going to want to keep him. If Petry stays solid, you're going to want to keep him. You're likely going to want to keep Mata as well to be on your third pairing. The odd man out there is going to be Sherratt and Holl. Sherratt, Holl, and Petry, I guess. So, like I said, the three guys I think they should rotate, realistically. And I don't think you're going to get rid of Sherratt because, by all accounts, Sherratt's a good leader. Same with Petry. Holl has some pretty decent toughness. He did get his ass kicked by Ryan Nugent-Hopkins, but that's besides the point. But the fact of the matter is, when Edvinsson comes back from injury, who do you slot out? Because you're going to have to end up waiving somebody. So, who is that? Like I said, I don't think it should be Mata, Ghost Despair. It's not going to be Walman or Sider. And out of Sherratt, Petry, and Holl, every team would like to have one of these three guys on their team. I don't think you're going to waive I guess Petry's probably the most waivable due to his age. And Sherratt and Holl would get snatched up immediately, even with their current deals. So Mata would get snatched up immediately, but I don't think you re-sign Mata to waive him. So where does Edvinsson slot in there? If, like I said, you got to waive somebody. Then not to mention that with Sherratt having 3 years on his deal, Petry 2, Holl 3, Mata's got 2. You got Wallinder, Johansson, and Sandin Pellikka, who will be coming up soon. Sandin Pellikka, granted, probably won't be up for another 2 years, but Wallinder and Johansson, they're looking to break into the lineup this season. They're not going to, realistically, but, in the 24-25 season, they're looking to. Like, Wallinder has a good potential to making the lineup in the 24-25 season. Johansson maybe a year after that. And then Sandin Pellikka as well. So you've got such good quality prospects that you got to find room for these guys. Like, if that means you've got to waive a Sherratt, a Petry, a Holl, even a Ghost Despair, if we still have Ghost Despair by the time Sandin Pellikka comes up, you waive Ghost Despair without a doubt because age. And as well as Mata, as much as we love and probably are going to love these guys, you got to make room for your prospects. It's evidence. You're going to have to make room for your prospects, or your team's not going to grow, ever. So, it's going to be interesting to see what Lalonde does. But, like I said, my preferred would be Walman Sider. You move... You move Mata up there. That's not what I wanted to do. Fuck it. You put Mata up here with probably Petry would be my guess. Or Sherratt. Actually, Sherratt and Mata would be good. Sherratt and Mata worked pretty well last year when they were together. Then you put Ghost Despair Petry down here, and then Holl is your odd man out. And then, like I said, you cycle between Sherratt, Petry, and Holl because they're your oldest, and they can all play the right side. And then once Edvinsson comes back, you're going to have to waive somebody. And I think if all things are considered, Petry's likely going to be the one to get waived. He's the oldest by far in the defensive, well, not by far, but he's the oldest on the D-line. He is, like I said, his production's falling, and he's the least likely to get claimed off of waivers. So it sucks, and we're all going to likely like Petry when he's, playing for the Wings. Plus, he's got the Detroit roots, but like I said, you got to make space for your new guys, or your team's not going to evolve. Which is why it confused me when Yzerman made a lot of these big deals. Is we've got so many prospects battling for a spot this year, next year, and the year after that these big deals are going to get in the way. But we all know Yzerman isn't one to shy away from shedding baggage to make room for prospects. We've seen it in the past. He's shed. When he came in, he got rid of Franz Nielsen's Franz Nielsen was already gone. I'm pretty sure. I can't remember. But Abdicator, he didn't re-sign to Kaiser. Like I said, he's not afraid to move and waive people to make room for prospects, which is something Detroit hasn't had in a little while with Holland. So I do believe that Yzerman will make the right calls, and I believe Lalonde will make the right moves for the D-line because they are putting together a very strong defensive first team. So with that being said, I want to know what you guys think. And just let me know in the comments. I liked having these conversations, and everything's been fairly cordial up until this, for the most part. So yeah, let me know what you guys think in the comments below, and also let me know what you guys think of the Yzerman plan as far as defense goes. I'm gonna make a video separate for the forwards and whatnot. I've got quite a few videos in the pipeline that I gotta make. So, but as it pertains to this, what do you think of the defensive Yzer plan, and how do you think Yzerman and Malone are going to make room for our prospects, and which prospects do you think will be punching their way into the lineup soon? So thank you guys so much for watching. My name is, as always, the Mex Canadian, and I will talk to you guys later. Adios.